which is intended to, or likely to, start racial hatred. So if you retweet that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offence.
Where they've said things online that people find to be a hateful thing or a problematic thing. And I think it's only 200 in Russia.
Have you ever worried about the government monitoring your online activity? You're not alone. Joe Rogan's recent podcast has sparked a fierce debate about personal privacy and state control in the UK. In this video, we'll explore how new laws could impact your daily life, from social media posts to private messages. We'll also hear from real people who face consequences for their online speech and ask, could you be next? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Picture this. As you peruse Twitter, you can't help but laugh at a meme that mocks a politician's most recent blunder. You added a sarcastic comment and hit the retweet button. That seemingly innocuous click could actually get you in trouble with the law. Step right up to the cutting edge of online safety legislation in the United Kingdom. This contentious bill was passed by Parliament in late 2023 and is said to shield users from damaging material found on the internet. However, detractors contend that it poses a threat to the very foundations of free speech and is thus a Trojan horse. Then, what is the reality? Do we need this law to protect ourselves from cyber threats, or is it a harsh instrument of government control? The Online Safety Act essentially gives the UK's media regulator, Ofcom, the authority to take action against social media companies that do not delete illegal content from their sites.
Soviet Russia, like how bad Russia is in terms of cracking down on thought police and...
The fines are severe, reaching 10% of a company's worldwide revenue. Even social media behemoths like Twitter and Facebook will take notice of that. An idealized vision of an internet free of harmful false information and hate speech is presented by the Act's proponents. They contend that these steps are necessary in a time when cyberbullying can escalate into physical assault. However, those who support free speech do not agree.
And we do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media. Their job is to look for this material.
Overzealous censorship prompted by imprecise definitions of illegal content might stifle free speech, they say. The interpretation and enforcement of the Act are matters of debate among legal experts. Concerns that social media sites may delete content that could cause controversy due to the possibility of heavy fines have led some to this conclusion. Some have raised concerns that powerful people may use the Act's vague wording to stifle opposition. Cases in the real world are currently in the works that might challenge the Online Safety Act.
And here's the problem with that. Even if you say, yeah, well, people shouldn't tweet hateful things. I agree. They shouldn't. But who's to decide what is a hateful thing?
That's the problem.
Will disinformation be used to describe a journalist's scathing exposé? Would an unconventional joke told by a comedian constitute hate speech? What happens to free speech in the UK when these questions are answered will determine its future. Now we can return to our made-up situation. Did you share that political meme? No matter how well-intentioned you were, the Online Safety Act could still hold you accountable if it is deemed as inciting violence. The Act has the ability to muddy the waters between commentary and crime, which is a disturbing thought. The globe is observing the United Kingdom as it struggles to adapt to the changing digital environment.
You know their situation has gotten out of control when it becomes discussed globally simultaneously. The riots and public disturbances are...
Governments around the world, from the European Union to Australia, are formulating policies to govern the internet. Can we strike a balance between user protection and the free flow of ideas that is the essence of the internet. A voice rises above the din with disturbing clarity in the midst of heated discussions regarding internet safety. The recent podcast by Joe Rogan shocked listeners by depicting the United Kingdom as a police state in a dystopian future.
Which is intended to, or likely to, start racial hatred. So if you retweet that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offence.
The question is, how much of Rogan's story remains true when tested? One of the most famous podcasters in the world, Joe Rogan, made a shocking accusation about the United Kingdom that went viral online. Drawing parallels to the Soviet Union, he said that 4,000 individuals had been imprisoned in England for thought crimes. This accusation, if proven, would indicate a severe curtailing of personal freedoms in a democracy that is among the world's oldest. Much of the public discourse is shaped by Rogan's podcast because of its controversial guests and broad topics. His opinions on MMA and politics are heard by millions of people every week. People pay attention when he talks, and they were eager to spread his disturbing accusations regarding the purported suppression of free speech in the United Kingdom.
Finding people who've said something that they disagree with and putting them in a fucking cage in England in 2024 is really wild.
Things start to get intriguing at this point, though. Putting Rogan's assertions up against official UK crime statistics makes things look much murkier. There is no official data to support the 4,000 arrests figure, which appears to have emerged out of nowhere. In this case, the internet has played a key role in the rapid dissemination of false information. Therefore, what is the truth? A number of UK statutes, including the Public Order Act and the Malicious Communications Act, define hate speech and online harassment as illegal.
The offence of incitement to racial hatred involves publishing or distributing material which is insulting.
Some high-profile cases have resulted from these laws, such as those in which people were sentenced to prison for publishing hate speech online. During the Southport disorder, one individual was sentenced to 3 months in prison for inciting riots through the sharing of a Facebook meme. Nonetheless, Rogan's claim of widespread imprisonment for thought crimes is drastically at odds with these instances, striking a balance between the rights to free speech and the necessity to safeguard individuals from harm. The legal framework for prosecuting online speech in the UK is intricate and subtle. Defining Rogan's assertions as blatant misinformation, Labour MP Dawn Butler wasted no time getting to the point. She brought attention to the real-world risks of disseminating unfounded claims by stating that these narratives regarding free speech and police could empower far-right groups.
Where they've said things online that people find to be a hateful thing or a problematic thing. And I think it's only 200 in Russia.
The arrests and prosecutions in the UK related to speech are not as shocking as Rogan's podcast makes it out to be. The UK is not imprisoning thousands of people for their thoughts, even though there are ongoing debates about how to balance online safety with free speech. A clear illustration of how fast false information can travel, even from powerful sources, is this incident. Checking facts and evaluating information critically has never been more important.
So it's a really, really serious. People might think they're not doing anything harmful. They are.
Then in this age of heated online debates that influence public policy and opinion. Now the real question is, how can we create a space online where facts take precedence over sensationalism? We have seen that there's a delicate balancing act required to ensure both free speech and internet safety regulations are respected.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe in Russia they're too scared to do it at all.
Could be. Yeah.
Although the UK's Online Safety Act seeks to limit harmful content, there are legitimate worries regarding the possibility of overreach and censorship. Joe Rogan's inflated accusations regarding thought crimes in the UK demonstrate how vested interest can propel disinformation. Consequently, what's our next move? How can free and democratic societies safely traverse the murky seas of online speech without compromising either?
Just terrible government overreach. You're seeing it now in England where people are getting arrested for tweets.
There isn't a simple solution, but one thing is certain. Everyone plays an important part. It is essential that we, as internet users, develop our capacity for critical thinking.
I think there's something like 4,000 people have been arrested in England for thought crimes.
Be wary of making hasty judgments. Actively seek out other points of view and question your own presumptions. The Centre for Countering Digital, Hate and other civil liberties organisations can keep you informed about free speech issues. Disentangling truth from fiction and having meaningful debates are the keys to the future of our digital discourse. Would you like to be entrusted with that task?